Back in 1988, Tim Burton unleashed Beetlejuice on the world. While Pee-wee's Big Adventure announced Burton's arrival in Hollywood, his second feature is the one that kicked the doors in and endeared him to the alternative culture. Additionally, the movie managed to rack up a healthy amount of awards, as well as becoming a cult classic in the process. Today, I am going to show you 10 mind-blowing things you didn't know about Beetlejuice. 10. Deo was played at Glenn Schwartz's funeral. One of the fondest memories of Beetlejuice is the dinner scene where the guests are supernaturally compelled to dance to Harry Belafonte's Deo, the Banana Boat song. It's such a fun, eccentric moment that sums up the tone of the movie beautifully. In 2010, 58-year-old Glenn Schwartz, who played Otho in the movie, fell in his kitchen and died of blunt trauma to his head. At his memorial service, the final song played was Deo, a fitting send-off to the gifted actor and a fan favorite of the movie. Schwartz has been extremely proud of Beetlejuice, saying in a 2008 interview that was posted on his website, "We had so much fun filming this unusual and so very original movie that I had a feeling something very special was happening." 9. Michael Keaton ad-libbed a lot. It should come as no surprise that a Tim Burton movie set allows for creativity and actors to spread their wings and do the unconventional. Thus, we find it perfectly acceptable that Burton allowed star Michael Keaton to ad-lib his lines in the movie. Considering that Keaton started out as predominantly a comedy actor, ad-libbing is second nature to him. In an interview with Coming Soon, Keaton revealed how he improvised many of his lines in his first feature film. "When I did Night Shift, I improvised quite a bit because I would improvise at the audition, so sometimes I would return to the original lines, and when I was on set, I would improvise even more," he said. It's safe to say that without his unique quirks and ad-libs, Beetlejuice wouldn't have been quite the same. 8. The snake scene was filmed before Michael Keaton was cast. As you all know, most movies aren't filmed in the same linear sequence as the script. Therefore, you might get the ending completed before the first scene is even shot. With Beetlejuice, Tim Burton took exactly the same approach. The famous snake scene was actually done before Michael Keaton was cast as the lead character. Thus, an animatronic snake was utilized which bore no likeness to him. After Keaton joined up and additional footage was shot, it was decided to use a snake that looked more like Beetlejuice. Apparently, this was at the behest of the studio execs, who felt the audience wouldn't know the snake was actually Beetlejuice and not some other random monster. In retrospect, that was smart advice and added a little more character to the scene. 7. A script for the sequel was commissioned. Beetlejuice made good money for Warner Brothers. From a budget of $15 million, it brought in over $73 million and developed a rabid following. Naturally, the smell of money was a temptation that couldn't be resisted, and a script for the sequel was commissioned. In 1990, Burton hired Jonathan Gems to write Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian. The movie would have followed the Dietz family as they moved to Hawaii, and then discovered their company was built on ancient burial grounds. Beetlejuice would be the hero and save the day by winning a surfing contest. Yes, we're being completely serious about this plot. The movie didn't happen, and we're a little bummed about that since it sounded insane. However, there have been talks that Burton will return for a Beetlejuice sequel, along with Michael Keaton and Winona Ryder. Maybe it'll still be set in Hawaii. 6. Tim Burton wanted Sammy Davis Jr. to be Beetlejuice. While we can't imagine anyone else but Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice nowadays, Tim Burton originally wanted someone else for the part, the legendary Rat Pack member Sammy Davis Jr. This shouldn't come as a surprise, as Burton was renowned for casting his movies a little more differently than others. Plus, Burton was a really huge fan of Davis and wanted to work with him. Interestingly, an earlier draft of the script called for Beetlejuice to be an African-American man, so it would make sense to get someone of Davis' talent and caliber for the role. It was producer David Geffen who actually suggested Michael Keaton to the director, and it stuck. Burton must have enjoyed the experience because he cast the actor in his next project, 1989's Batman. 5. Juliette Lewis auditioned for the role of Lydia. Reportedly, actresses Molly Ringwald, Diane Lane, Sarah Jessica Parker, Brooke Shields, and Jennifer Connelly all turned down the role of Lydia Deetz in Beetlejuice. Maybe they thought the script was too weird. One actress in contention, though, was Juliette Lewis, who found fame in Oliver Stone's Natural Born Killers, and as the flamboyant singer of Juliette and the Licks. At the end of the day, Burton decided to go with Winona Ryder, after being wowed by her performance in 1986's Lucas. Ryder was only 17 years old when she filmed Beetlejuice. Looking back, it seems like a perfect casting, as Ryder has become synonymous with Lydia. No one else could pull off angsty goth girl like she could at the time, or maybe even now. 4. Christiale was the first choice for Barbara. It has become widely known that Geena Davis immediately signed on to portray Barbara Maitland after meeting with Tim Burton. However, she wasn't the first choice for Barbara. Burton's original pick for the part was Cheers star Christiale. Sadly, she wasn't able to take the role because the show's producers wouldn't let her out of her contract. That's a real bummer, isn't it? Truth be told, Allie isn't the first or the last star to lose out on a role because of a TV show commitment. In fact, it's probably due to these contract issues that most movie stars are reluctant to sign long-term TV deals. Look at how Michael Keaton didn't want to commit to J.J. Abrams' Lost for the exact same reason. 3. Catherine O'Hara met her future husband on set. We're pretty certain that no cast or crew member plans on meeting their future partner while working on a movie, but that's what happened to actress Catherine O'Hara and production designer Bo Welch on the Beetlejuice set. Welch told Uproxx the story of how the relationship happened. Towards the end of the movie, Tim Burton told me we were shooting in Vermont. You should ask Catherine out. And I said, what? And he said, yeah, you should ask her out. It didn't occur to me that I was even supposed to talk to actors. But since Tim told me to, I did, and then we dated and were married, and here we are today, he said. O'Hara and Welch were married in 1992 and have 2 sons, Matthew and Luke. 2. Angelica Houston was almost cast as Delia. As the rumor goes, Angelica Houston was all but set to play Delia Deetz. However, she had to bow out of the production due to illness. Fortunately for Hudson, she got another chance at an eccentric dark comedy in the shape of Barry Sonnenfeld's The Addams Family. Naturally, Tim Burton and company needed to find someone else for the part and offered it to actress Catherine O'Hara, but she initially declined Burton's offer. Not giving up though, Burton flew out to meet and convince her about the part. O'Hara was immediately on board after meeting with the director. It sounds like Mr. Burton is quite the salesman. Maybe that's how he has convinced execs that he needs to cast Johnny Depp in nearly all of his projects. 1. The movie was almost called Scared Sheetless. Before Beetlejuice was settled on as the final name of the movie, there was a bit of back and forth regarding what it should be called. You see, a lot of a film's marketability is in its title, so the studio wanted to make sure it was just right and didn't think Beetlejuice was catchy enough. Reportedly, House Ghosts was the preferred title because being too on the nose is no such thing in Hollywood. Tim Burton jokingly offered Scared Sheetless as an alternative and cheeky reference to the scene where the Maitlands attempt to scare the Deetz family out of the house by wearing bedsheets. The studio thought he was serious and considered it. Fortunately, someone came to their senses and decided to keep the original name of Beetlejuice.